This is Dumbed Down Life, number 116.
And that was Klaypex with Hey Hey. I chose that one, so we're not actually listening to it as we're recording. Lance is going to love that one when he listens back to the show. Good evening, Lance.
Good evening, sir. How are you?
Not too bad, actually. No, I lied. I'm a complete mess.
Why?
I did my induction today at the gym, and, well, I knew that I wasn't fit, but I didn't know quite how unfit I was.
Really?
Yeah. I was doing some running on the treadmill, which is completely alien to me. I walk. I do not run.
You walk miles though, don't you?
Well, the legs will just go and go. You point them in the direction and go, which is quite embarrassing because the body never catches up. But, I can walk for ages, but there's definitely a big difference between walk and exercise, or at least there is for me. Because I started off by doing walking on the treadmill and was walking at about sort of 6-7 kilometers per hour. But then the guy who's doing the induction for me pushed it up to sort of 10 kilometers per hour. So I had to run. And what?
Well, you're saying you sort of started at about 7 kilometers an hour. Yeah, I'm pretty much running at 7 kilometers an hour. By 10 kilometers an hour, I'm sprinting.
Yeah, well, See, I don't know the difference between a run and a sprint yet. Hopefully, I won't end up having to sprint. But 10 kilometers per hour, and it was definitely exercise, which I say I haven't done before. Full stop, really. But then after doing that for about 20-25 minutes, not constantly that speed, but sort of working my way up and down the speed and getting the idea of how the machine can do inclines and so forth, came off of that, and then went on to the leg press machine. And I've got a feeling that the leg press is actually using muscles that I've never used before. Or if I have used them, certainly not in any form of exercise.
Is a leg press where you're lying on a sliding pad and your legs are on a base and you're sort of literally pushing yourself up?
This was sitting, yeah, but we're sitting on a base. You've got your feet flat on the end and you push yourself up, but also attached to the seat is a cable that then goes around to the weights.
To the weights, yeah. And so you're using like your upper thigh muscles, aren't you?
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah.
And it's the tops of the legs, yeah, the upper thighs, the tops of the legs that's being used more than anything else. And to start with, I had to do 15 repetitions using 40 kilograms. And I have got no concept of what a kilogram is. I'm part of the generation where the teachers were told you will teach in metric, but they didn't know what metric was, and so I've ended up with this sort of half and half education of not really having a concept of what a kilogram is, and not really having a concept of what a pound is either. So weights are something that's
kind of alien to me. Same as you.
Yeah. So I did 15 repetitions with 40 kilograms attached to the chair, and sort of went 1, 2, 3 quite quickly and quite easily. So afterwards he says, okay, well, what we'll do is just stick another 10 kilograms on, and it doesn't look like much. It's only sort of a foot long. There we go again, foot long instead of 30 centimeters. Foot long bit of weight, and you think, well, that's not going to be much. He stuck that on, and suddenly it felt as if the seat was bolted down. And I didn't think that as hard as I could push, it was going to move. It was that sort of extra. And so the next 15 I did a lot slower, to the point where the last 2, I was given the old grunt to sort of to get the last ones done.
Which is just where you should be.
Really?
Yeah, they for sort of weightlifting and that, they say 2 to 3 reps at a given weight, and it's the last sort of couple of the second rep where you should be giving it everything you've got and physically can't do another one.
Oh, right. Okay.
So you're probably about right there.
Well, I think that possibly need to do 450. No, not 400. Yeah, but halfway between the two, rather than trying to do the full whack every time or going to the lower setting. But I went from that onto the next machine, which would have been a chest exercise, pulling the machine up, more like a bench press kind of an exercise, but sat on a machine and pushing the handles out horizontally, and I just couldn't do it. I'd started feeling dizzy and started feeling a bit sick and just couldn't do it, and so I had to step away from the machine. Now that totally wasn't what I was expecting. So I went there for sort of like an MOT, and they checked my heart rate and blood pressure, and all that was around normal. Apparently I'm a little bit overweight, but that was it really. But yeah, it was it was interesting to push myself to that extent. But you've got a gym at your office, haven't you?
Yeah.
And do you use that, or?
I have done, and there was a while where I was using it quite regularly, and I do want to go back. I've recently been walking to work and back every day, which is about 5 miles round trip.
Yeah.
And I thought at the start it was doing me some good, but now I'm not really sure breathing fitness or losing weight or like that. I mean, it must be doing me some good activity that I haven't been doing. So
Yeah.
it must be doing me some good. But I would like to go back to our gym in the office, but until I get my bike sorted, I kind of can't.
Well, that's
Because I'm certainly not walking 2.5 miles to work, doing a day's work, going into the gym, and then walking 2.5 miles home again.
Yeah.
I think that's pushing it a little bit too far.
I think that's what I found with going to the gym today, is that the walking just isn't enough. It's better than nothing, but it's not much better than nothing.
I think it's possibly a maintenance thing in that it would help you keep where you are, but it's not necessarily going to improve anywhere.
It's more than that. It's by not having a car and walking, it means you don't tend to go to McDonald's. You don't tend to go and just, I'm feeling a bit hungry, I will jump in the car and go get something stodgy. So it helps in that way.
I think you'll find it probably increases stamina. But not necessarily sort of what would you call it, explosive activity like weightlifting and that kind of thing.
Yeah, but what I'll have to do is to see whether or see how things improve and make it part of the updates of the show. That was Professor Kliq with Plastic and Flashing Lights. So you mentioned there about the motorbike. Have you had any updates on that yet?
Sort of, yeah. It's being worked on, I think is the best way of saying it. It's failed its MOT. I can't remember the last conversation we had about the bike, but it's failed its MOT.
Oh, what did it fail its MOT on? Do you know?
Yeah, it needs a new carburettor. So I'm guessing it was something to do with the emissions.
Oh, I thought they did that after they put the carburettor on. No? No.
It was a running bike. They took it for the MOT to get the MOT for me to buy it, and it failed. And I think it must have failed on the emissions. But then the solution is a new carburettor. Right. It's taken them 2 weeks to get this carburettor, and I've since found out that they've been making this model for around 12 years, and for the first 2 years, they had a specific carburettor on it, and then they changed it after that, and all the models after that have got a different carburettor. Guess which model of carburettor mine has?
Yours is the older one.
Yeah, which is a bit more difficult to get their hands on, which is why it's taken them 2 weeks to get it.
Right.
I walked by the shop the other day, and it's actually up on the ramps, and he had it running, so I popped in, and it's running, but not running very nicely. It's not throttling up properly when he opens the throttle, so he's still tweaking that. But I went by this morning with my daughter on the way into town, and it's no longer on the ramps. In fact, I couldn't see it in the shop.
Ooh.
So I don't know whether that means he's done it, it's out on a test ride, or he's done it and it's gone for its MOT, or he's given up and hidden it somewhere.
Or somebody else has bought it. Yeah.
Or somebody else has bought it and I've been screwed. Yeah, I don't know. But hopefully, when I spoke to him on Friday when I popped in, I said, so what do you reckon? Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday? He said, yeah, about that, mate. So hopefully sometime this week I shall have my bike.
You're listening to Dumbed Down Life.
So after having recorded a couple of no-show shows, we've now got a solid week, near enough, of Lance and I recording together. What are you laughing at?
Near enough.
Well, near enough.
And it's my fault that it's not full completely on, but hey, Scouts, got to do my bit for the community, haven't I?
Oh, got to do your bit for your community. So we will be back again tomorrow, and see you then. Ta-ra!
Ta-ra!
You can call the Dumbed Down Life crew on 07092 274 759.
You can follow us on Twitter. Our account name is Dumbed Down Life.
The email address is ddl.podshow@gmail.com. The website address is www.dumbeddownlife.com.